everybody. Today we're here with Tecle Gebremicheal, who is a candidate for the Boise Council. We're going to do a little get-to-know video. Hope you guys enjoy it and get to know Tecle.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
And people need to understand that when refugees come here, they come here just to work, change their life, and support the community. This is actually a recent incident that I was eating with my friend at a restaurant. One of my friends, he's an amazing former refugee. And he reminded me what I did the few months of my arrival is when I got my first job. I got a lot of money. It was like a lot of money, and I would change to my currency back in Ethiopia, and it's like hundreds and thousands.
Yeah. Everyone.
So I went back to the agency. I told them that now that I have a job, I have a full-time job, I have income. Would you please stop my benefits and give it to somebody? And she told me, hey Tecle, I really appreciate that. I know you have a good heart, so I'm going to trust you just to do that by yourself. And she said she gave me the contact person to the health and welfare. And then I emailed them. 2 weeks later, I got an envelope and said, hey Tecle, we got this email, and are you sure that you have enough income? And I was amazed. I emailed them to stop, and still they're just making sure that I have income. I have enough income, and I'm able to support myself. And I emailed them again, and I said thank you, and they stopped it. And when we had that conversation, I went to the email that I did not have anymore because it was Yahoo from
Ages
Africa.
ago.
And I reset the password, and I found that the email, and it's the most broken English you can ever read.
Send it to me. I want to read it.
Yes.
I want to read it.
I have it printed, and it was so funny to read that email.
How many months after you came here was that?
It was 4 months after.
4 months.
4 months after, yes.
You learned English, got a job, started your GED,
Yes.
and asked them to stop your benefits in 4 months. And you were 21.
I was 21 back then, yes. So I made these 3 long-term goals, and I was just running after them. I was just trying to accomplish them, and I always had 2 jobs, full-time job, part-time job, and full-time school. So my sleeping average hours was pretty much 3 to 4 hours for the last 3-4 years. And even though I worked hard and I accomplished these goals that I made, I think that's not always the case with many refugees. Part of that is just the opportunity. Part of that is just the personal initiative and setting up long-term goals and going after that. And part of that is just mentorship and seeing somebody that does those hard work and accomplishing what needs to be accomplished. And really just I did not have the opportunity to hit those really.
But also I think that what's embedded in you, like, you know, I didn't always have access to education, but I was told from a very young age, from the time that I could pick up a book, that you're going to college. So your dad probably did the same thing to you guys, and that was embedded in you regardless of where you were going to go, that you were going to go to school and get an education regardless of your age and circumstances or language barrier that you wanted to accomplish.
That's true. That's really true. And we don't have that a lot in many African countries. We don't have the culture of being like a mentorship and telling making long-term goals, or families asking what are you going to be when you grow up, like that simple question, and putting setting something that happened to be your future.
And I think that a lot of people have this idea of college, that you go to college so that you can get a good job and become rich. But I think people miss the point about college, that it teaches you how to think for yourself.
Yes.
It teaches you how to make the right choices when you have the opportunity. It teaches you how to filter through all of what we're being fed.
I mean, it's just I am just a big example of that. I
Yeah,
did not have a
exactly.
lot of knowledge. I mean, at age 8, 9, that my knowledge was just we're the only people that exist on Earth. A small village with 300 people.
Yeah.
Going to school has really just changed my life. So,
You joined the American Army, right?
yes.
When was that, or how long did you serve?
So I joined in 2016,
Mhm.
June of 2016. So I'm with the United States Army Reserve here at Gownfield, and it's a 6-year term. So I'm about 4 years. So I have a couple years to
Two
go.
more years
Yes,
to go.
and
You joined because you wanted to serve America and you wanted to give back to this country. Have you been able to do that through your army experience? What has that been like?
yes, that's a good question. I see two things joining the army. I grew up playing soccer my entire life, and in soccer, what you build inside is just being a team player, loving your team players, and you feel like they're just your family.
Yeah.
And later on, I'm a coach right now. I coach soccer, and what I do is just teaching them how to be a team player, how to be responsible. And even though that's what your job as a coach or as a player, if you fail to play your role in a team, the worst thing that's going to happen to you in sport is just losing the game. But when I joined the army, when I went to South Carolina, teamwork was taking a further step. If you fail to play your role in the army, it's going to cost your life or your buddy's life.
Yep.
So there is no learning opportunity. It's gone, and the only thing that we cannot substitute at this time with our development is life. And I think what I've experienced is just we come here and we're part of this country. We're part of this democratic system. We're part of this freedom, and we need to really just serve our country and our community and give back to the community.
Yeah. We need to play our part so that our buddies, we don't lose our lives or our buddies, metaphorically speaking, because I think that I completely agree with that. I think like with the political climate that we're in right now, everybody needs to play their part.
Yes.
We cannot afford not to play our part. We have to be part of the team for the team to survive, because the team will not survive. And the team is the whole country, not just like the parties, like the Republican or like Democrat. None of that really matters. At the end of the day, we're all human and we all want the same thing. We all just want love, food, and for our families to be safe and to do good in the world. So you are a candidate for the Boise City Council. Tell us a little bit about what does the councilman or woman do? What is their job?
That's a good question, because a lot of new Americans don't really have an idea how the government system here functions.
Americans.
Yes, that's true. Really, I had a lot of questions at BSU with students, and yes. So the city council is 6 elected officials at the city of Boise. They serve under the mayor, the Boise mayor, and their job is just pretty much working on budgeting an annual budget and allocating the budget to the services that we have in the city, the Boise Police Department, the fire, the parks, and other city services as well. So they make plans, they hold community hearings on different issues. What's happening right now is the downtown library proposal of the stadium or the cabin was meant to be removed, and they will really hold meetings and listen from the community and make decisions on those issues as well.
So you are the community representative to hold the mayor accountable to do what he says he's going to do for the people.
Perfect. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
When can people vote for you?
So on November 5th, is the election day, or they can vote on early vote the week before is the early voting week, and they can vote go into any location,
Mhm.
or they can vote on by absentee ballot.
Everybody, please vote November 5th. Do your absentee ballots. Do the early voting.
Yes.
Get this man elected because he's going to do good things. Tell us about some of the things that you're going to do.
That's a good question. I think what I'm trying to do is, again, pretty much to my own experience.
Mhm.
I came as a refugee, and I lived in an apartment for 6 years before I bought my first house. Those apartments have doubled in price right now.
Oh,
And
yes.
price is not only the issue. We have housing crisis, but
Oh,
mainly
yes.
affordable housing crisis. We have families that get the housing assistance, or we call it traditionally the Section 8 waivers, and they couldn't get houses, and those benefits are expiring on their hands. They couldn't find houses to rent.
Mhm.
And the same can be said for the public transportation as well. While I was saying that I had 2 jobs in full-time school, I was riding the bus. I did not have a car for 6 months. So I was working during the day using the bus, but I was riding my bike at night to go to school to take some English classes. Back then, the College of Western Idaho was on Vista by the airport,
Mhm.
and my apartment was on State Street. So I was riding my bike for 45 minutes. And one day I was always tired and sweat and in class, and this teacher noticed that, and she asked me, "Hey Tecle, where do you live?" And I told her I live on 28th and State. And she said, "How do you get here?" Because it's at night, and she know we don't have public transportation. And I told her I ride my bike. She was shocked, and she left the room, the class, and she went to another class. She grabbed a guy. He was actually from Iran, and she told him that, "You're gonna give this guy a ride every day. You guys have class together."
Mhm.
Because she knew that he lives by that apartment, and that's how I start riding a car with my friend. And I think we can. And the third that I'm focusing is public safety. Of course, our city is growing, and a lot of people have a concern of safety with following that growth. And I had an opportunity to work with the Boise Police Department in their community policing program. And we can improve those services, and mainly just we can improve public housing and affordable housing. We can improve public transportation. Really, just if it took me that long to accomplish my goals, we can reduce that. Maybe others can really do better in a few years as well. And mainly improving public transportation is not actually going to solve the public transportation issues. It will solve the traffic congestion, and then the air pollution. That's another global issue, and we can play our role as a community. And I believe nobody would understand these issues. Anybody in the office or who's running may not understand these issues than I do, because I went through these issues, and I know a lot of people that are struggling to make life out of it.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. I took the bus to do the same thing, go to English classes. My mom did, and for a period of time, my dad actually got in a car accident when we came here, like within the first month. So he did to go to work, and my God, it's such a problem. First of all, you have to wait for the bus for like 45 minutes.
Yes.
And Boise winters are cruel.
Yes.
You'll die waiting for the bus out there. So we definitely need
That's really
help.
many, sorry to interrupt, that many people don't really understand that. And our community, we depend on jobs, what we call them the entry jobs, because of our status. And a lot of these jobs are available at nights or outside the city.
Yeah.
A lot of them are warehouses by the airport, or our largest employer is Micron, which the bus don't go there. And I think in this growth, we can really just improve our public transportation and help people do maybe sometimes work multiple jobs to meet the growing life situation in Boise.
If this guy has done this much for himself with such limited resources and not having access to basic needs like food and education, can you imagine what he can do for us?